Hello, my name is Peter Dalenius and I'm the Deputy Manager at Didacticum, the Teaching Staff Development Center at Linköping University. I would like to share some thoughts with you on pedagogical digital transformation. Pedagogical digital transformation can occur on different levels and the approaches will differ. On a personal level, as a teacher, I can transform my teaching and my courses. On a collegial level, I can work together with my colleagues to develop all courses in a certain subject area or perhaps a whole program. But what about the institutional level? How can I initiate a pedagogical digital transformation for the university as a whole? It might seem impossible, but there are two important questions that you can start with. First, what's the level of competence of the teaching staff at your institution? And second, in what way would you like to change it? And depending on the situation and your goals, you might want to take different actions. Well, the big question here is it actually possible to measure the pedagogical digital competence? Well, maybe to some extent, but it might be difficult to capture all the aspects. There are some models available, DigCompEdu, for example. That's a general model for digital competence for teachers, and it identifies 6 different proficiency levels. You start off as a newcomer, you move on to be explorer, integrator, expert, leader, and finally a pioneer. For this discussion, the exact definition of each of these levels doesn't really matter. It's enough to know that there exists a progression of levels. So let's imagine that it's possible to measure the pedagogical digital competence of all teachers at your institution, and let's plot the result of that investigation in a graph. What would it look like? Well, one guess is that it might be a normal distribution like this. If this is the case for your university, what could be a good strategy for transformation? Well, one interesting observation here is that there are no leaders and no pioneers. So, a good strategy might be to start off by inspiring some people to become leaders and pioneers, and then use them to transform the rest of the teaching staff. But what if the result looks like this, with most of the teachers just starting off to work with pedagogical digital tools? Well, I would like to emphasize that we're not talking about here a classification of good and bad teachers. All of them are probably really good teachers. It's just that they are inexperienced in using digital tools for teaching. So, how can you achieve transformation in a situation like this? I really believe that it's important to set realistic goals. You cannot transform the whole staff in a short time. You have to take small steps. So you might start off with a smaller goal. Select a group of teachers to be forerunners and set up a concrete project for a set of courses just to start somewhere. And finally, let me share with you what we believe is the situation at our university. We haven't done any formal assessment of our teachers' pedagogical digital competence, but this is our estimate. We have a fairly large population that's inexperienced and has never really moved beyond using just PowerPoint slides. And for them, our strategy is to formulate a basic level of pedagogical digital competence. We want to make the expectations on a teacher of today explicit. And of course, we also arrange workshops and trainings to support this. But we also have a lot of teachers in the middle. They use some digital tools for teaching, and it works pretty okay. We want to help them to take the next step. And exactly what that step might be, that can be very different. For some, it might be about using a new feature in our learning platform, and for others, it might be about trying to use the flipped classroom approach. So we offer a sort of menu of different on-demand workshops where everyone can find something useful. And luckily for us, we also have some pioneers. They require no special training because they figure things out for themselves. But for us, it's important to encourage them and to give something back to them for their hard and inspiring work. We try to give them some time and space to explore, to experiment, and then report back to us what works and what doesn't. So, thank you very much for your attention. I hope these thoughts can inspire you to start a pedagogical digital transformation at your institution.